Much like my birth, accidents can provide the world with so much joy, happiness, and unrelenting aggression. And when it comes to games, time constraints, bugs, and even a lack of money can bring about features in titles that put them on the map. Games of all shapes and sizes have bizarre origin stories like these, and it just goes to show that all the genius and planning in the world pales in comparison to just playing f***aroo with your title. With this in mind, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, and these are 7 iconic video games that were created by accident. Number 7. Geometry Wars was originally Tester software. Bizarre Creations' colourful multi-directional shooter Geometry Wars was never intended to be a game at all. It began life as software the studio was using in-house to test the Xbox controller during the making of Project Gotham Racing 2. Employees had a lot of fun with the program, and they felt the public would too, so they sneaked a modified version of it into the racing game as an unlockable Easter egg. They had no way of knowing that it would become a phenomenon in its own right. Many Project Gotham Racing 2 fans spent just as much time whittling away hours on this as they did on the in-game tracks, and so smelling a hit on their hands, the decision was made to give Geometry Wars a standalone release. Good thing they did, as the game held the record for the most downloaded title on Xbox Live for a fair old while. Number 6. Grand Theft Auto happened because of a glitch. Although it's hard to believe, one of the most lucrative and controversial gaming franchises of all time is only around today because of a glitch at Rockstar Games HQ. The developer didn't originally set out to create the ultimate crime and parent offender simulator. It was actually in the process of putting together a harmless racing title dubbed Race and Chase when it stumbled across the series formula. Race and Chase would have seen players go head-to-head in street races with cops in hot pursuit, but a glitch during development resulted in those police cars doing a little more than just pursuing. They would ram players off the road and into buildings, causing all sorts of in-game pandemonium. Upon seeing this, the dev team, instead of being shocked to see their title go from adorable to apocalyptic, reveled in the chaos, and so ditched the races and pretty much all legality along with it, creating GTA in the process. Number 5. Counter-Strike came about because Half-Life's multiplayer was boring. Counter-Strike is now pretty synonymous with online shooters, but there's no way developer Valve could have foreseen its success, seeing as it actually came about through seeds sown in another game. Now, technically speaking, Counter-Strike wasn't actually an accident in that its creation was very, very intentional, but it came about only because a pair of programmers thought that Half-Life's multiplayer was really f***ing boring. In a bid to spice up this deathmatches, the duo created an early version of Counter-Strike as a mod for the game, and when it ended up being phenomenally popular, Valve did the sensible thing and bought the rights to it, as well as hiring the pair to work on a full version of the tactical shooter. Valve never set out to create Counter-Strike, but to date it has spawned several sequels and a number of spin-offs. And it's been credited with the sole reason that Half-Life remained popular more than 5 years on from its release. It's strange to think that this series might never have happened if Half-Life's multiplayer was simply up to scratch. Number 4. Metal Gear's stealth was the result of the MSX2's technical limitations. Metal Gear Solid and stealth go hand in hand like me and your mum, there's my one per list, yet it turns out that this might have been very different if the MSX2 system was a bit more powerful. Series mastermind and perennial bother of logic Hideo Kojima developed the first entry in the series for the rudimentary home computer in 1987, though the game he had in mind was an all-out military action affair which would have players gunning down hordes of enemy soldiers and dodging storms of bullets. As you can tell, that's very different to what we got, and it literally was down to the MSX2 not being able to put the amount of desired sprites on screen. This meant that sections had to be stretched out and action scenes limited, but I think I speak for all of us when I say that I'm actually glad the MSX2 was weaker than Hideo's grasp on reality. You're welcome. Number 3. Pikmin evolved from a Nintendo tech demo. Pikmin as a game is the equivalent of walking into a strip club with $5,000 in your pocket and saying, "Let's f***ing have some then," in that it came from a session in which no one had any idea how the product was going to turn out. The development team behind the original GameCube puzzler was handed an advanced graphics engine and were tasked with creating a game around it. The framework they inherited was originally a tech demo designed to showcase the capabilities of the GameCube at Space World 2000. Spacey. Nintendo wowed audience attendees with footage of 128 Marios sharing a screen. After the reaction, Big N thought it would be silly to waste this tech, so got Shigefumi Hino to come up with something based around it. Thus, Pikmin was born through people just being impressed with the power of the GameCube. Isn't that nice? Number 2, DOTA was a mashup of WARCRAFT and STARCRAFT. Dozens of games started life as mods or have roots in community development, but when a team of talented developers created a WARCRAFT/STARCRAFT mashup in the early 2000s, who would have predicted that it would have gone on to spawn its own genre? The Defense of the Ancients map was essentially the STARCRAFT scenario Aeon of Strife converted into the Warcraft 3 engine using the game's editing software, which was released for free by the developer Blizzard. The modified map came with altered gameplay loosely based in the tower defense concept, and it caught on like wildfire on the Battle.net platform. Over time, Dota was shaped by the community, with fans logging onto official forums to post ideas about its future direction. Therefore, this isn't a tale about a single game getting made by accident, but an entire genre. Not too shabby, although it probably has a lot to answer for in terms of how much salt there is in the world now, so thanks for that. And number 1, CONKER'S Bad Fur Day wasn't supposed to be adult-themed. That seems mental when you think about it, that this game, which built a reputation on being offensive, was going to be anything but. Yet it's the truth, and kind of happened because the cutesy early footage was poorly received. Originally it was meant to be another string to Nintendo's family-friendly N64 bow, but it seems like Rare went too far and caused many eye rolls from the higher-ups. Rare took the game back to the drawing board, and it stayed there for so long that many speculated that it had been cancelled. What had apparently happened, though, was that Conker went through puberty and discovered swearing, as this was an alcohol, greed-filled, gun-crazy swearathon when it emerged once more. To put it bluntly, Nintendo were like, what the gosh darn white toast is that thing? And ditched promotion of it, meaning that THQ had to distribute the game in Europe. It was a far cry from its original intent, but the mistake to go so far towards kiddie-friendly was a blessing in disguise, as this foul-mouthed, sexually explicit game is now revered as one of Rare's bests. And that's our list. Got any other games which came about by accident? Well, let me know about them in the comments section below. Then why not swing by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon.
Oh, wasn't that something? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also the people who made this lovely video, they're appearing right here. But if you're thinking to yourself, I want to see more content, Jules, then why not look above my head, as there probably is some. I don't know. I can't see it. Until next time.